cool. I'll cut it right there. So we're here for this episode. This week's episode of Take 10. I'm a professional content creator. Can you tell? Yeah, I got Mitchell Cimino on. He is freshly off his Red Riot Games 1K victory, where he won a bunch of money, kicked a bunch of Canadian booty, showed them how good America is. Yes, and MGLA team lead. I would assume he's top 4 on the totem pole somewhere, right? It's I don't know. Just
I don't know shit about fuck. I'm just there.
hell yeah. That's what I say about team final round. I'm just here to hang out, man. I don't know why you guys want me on here. I'm a washed up old vet, so I'm just here to hang out. So, nah, this is the episode now, Storm of Blades. We were just bullshitting for the most of it. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
anywho.
just my buddy. We were just talking.
Yeah, man. So Take 10 is when I get to have my friends on, and I get to ask them weird questions and get them riff on it, and give them a platform. If they want a soapbox, they can soapbox. If they want to wax poetic, they can wax poetic. I don't care. I think that may be the same thing. I don't know. I'm not an English major. So if Jose's in chat, please tell me. But anywho,
Yeah.
so we're going to start with the icebreaker question. And what was the last thing you ate today?
This sandwich that I will be finishing later.
Hell yeah. What kind of sandwich is it?
Meatball marinara.
Oh my god, I haven't had a meatball sub in forever. That's the only thing I ever got at Subway.
It hits different.
Does it?
I don't get it off.
Yeah.
I don't get it often, but like
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you're just like, man, I
Mm.
want just like too much food.
Yeah. I took Kim out for her birthday last week, and I got an Italian sausage sandwich with like
Hmm.
a bunch of mozzarella on it. I was like, oh my god, I can only have this like once a millennia because it's too,
Oh, for sure.
it's too much. It's too much.
It's too weighty.
Yeah.
It's one of those. There's like so many things like that where it's just like, this is the best thing ever when I'm having it,
Mhm.
and if you ask me if I want it again, I will say no for like 9 months. Like I gotta take like a fucking 3/4 of the
Yeah.
year break from this.
It's kind of like Malort. Yeah.
Ugh, hard disagree. You never want that.
So I know.
Sorry.
So side tangent. So from back in the Boar's Hat case event, I had Mitchell and the boys come to the house, and Lenoco was here. I really shouldn't say his name on this one and attach it to him, but we ended up with some Malort, which is a very very gross beer from Chicago. So now there's some left over because everyone left their alcohol at the house. So what I do now is we have on D&D days, you roll a crit 1, you crit fail, you take a shot of Malort.
Oh,
I was the only
fuck.
one to roll a 1 yesterday. Yo.
As if it wasn't bad enough, man.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
So
no.
I was the Malort victim yesterday. It was super bad. So
Oof.
yeah. So moving on to question number 1, because there also I don't know why I number these because I usually end up asking other questions in between. How'd you get into UVS? What got your interest in the game, and what kept you here?
So how I got into UniVersus was I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. Like I started playing card games in general in high school because I was bored and hanging out in the library at school, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, we're gonna go over here and play like Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. Have you ever played? Do you want to?" And I'm like, sure." And I started learning how to do that. And going to like a local card shop, and I wound up meeting some friends of mine, Joseph Horth and Phil
Oh,
Birch,
mhm.
old head players from back in the day, and hung out with them more often. And they were already playing UFS at the time, and so being a kid who was like already playing card games, and my parents were already like down with me going to like locals or whatever, as long as I checked in, and like traveling to two events like once every so often, as long as I was like keeping up with school and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They both also played like Force of Will and like other card games that weren't just Yu-Gi-Oh. So when I was like hanging out and like, oh, card games are fun,
Mhm.
and like trying everything or whatever, I would just get handed like random really easy decks. And whenever they were like, hey, you got a free weekend, we're gonna go to like Rockford, or we're gonna go to this this PTC at like Eternal Games in Michigan or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. If as long as it's not like too far of a drive, I'll go. And I would like every so often relearn the mechanics of the game and like come in and play like just the easiest decks because I would play like once a year.
Oh, okay.
And it would be like my first PTC I think might have been Rockford. It was either Rockford or it was one at Eternal Games.
Okay.
I remember I was playing Schecter, because Phil didn't want to teach me about how to do anything other than throw mid attacks, and he told me not to block anything unless it was going to kill me.
Yeah.
Uh, so like I just played Schecter, whose whole gimmick was just play mid attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then I played stuff like one free Dragon Flare a turn Natali,
Oh, hell yeah.
at like
Yep.
at random events. So like I am like the avatar. I am an old head insofar as I was there playing the game. I
Yeah.
was not good and didn't keep up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like my main game or even a side game. It was just a thing I did when I was wanting to hang out with Phil and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was just playing easy stuff for the longest. And then when MHA came out as like the main IP for the game, I was like, oh, that's like my favorite anime. I will play the shit out of this game because I already have friends who were like really good and on cardboard,
Yeah.
and was like in the privileged position of like similarly with when I started Yu-Gi-Oh and my friends were like crazy good at Yu-Gi-Oh. I got to just like get the guide rails to become better immediately
Sure.
by just like getting the shit beat out of me by people who are really good. So like started playing MHA for that. What's kept me around is like I said in our like little preamble
Yeah.
before we were like actually going into the video. I think mechanically speaking, this is the best card game of all time. At its core, like obviously there are formats and there are cards that are like so and like whatever.
Yeah.
You can feel however you want about like specific mechanics or this, that, or the other thing. But like at its core, the way that the game plays out is the best of any card game that I've played, and I've played functionally every card game that's come out in the last like 10 years. And then what was it? It was what got me into it,
what
what I
kept you
liked
here?
the most, and then
Yeah.
what kept me here.
Other
Yeah,
than the
what kept me
mechanics.
here, like
Yeah. Other than the mechanics, obviously. So yeah.
yeah. Other than the mechanics is like the IPs, the people. I'm close friends with people who are really good at the game, and playing a game and learning it and like playing well and learning how to play well is incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. So like
Mm-hmm.
I stayed for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like to encourage people who play the game stick with it because like you said, you're gonna get your ass beat for a while
Oh,
before you
for
start
sure.
winning things. Like local level is a different story because there's always a bigger fish, small fish, big pond type thing or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But like when you go to like big events like a nationals, a regional, and you do well, there is a feel good about it because it's super hard to win a game in our game. It's super
Oh,
difficult
for sure.
because the other player sitting across the table doesn't suck either, right? Like they're
Hmm.
we're all good at it. Playing at a competitive level like a regionals, a nationals, a world. Like when I went to worlds, I was like that dude that felt like wow, there's like cool, I'm that guy. Like hey, yeah, I'm here like that.
Yeah.
I see Tim. I know Tam. Like me and Tam had one of the greatest games I've ever played in the game. Period. In like in round 2 or 3 of the Swiss rounds and worlds. It's super cool that even like sure we're competitors at the game, but we're all like really good friends and we just want to hang out and like that's why I like having people at the house when we have case events because it's one of my favorite things is have the boys in for the weekend and just chill out and just see how people are doing and
Oh,
catch
for
up.
sure.
Um,
Yeah, it's a great
yep.
time, and like any hobby, card games just in general, like insofar as like this one is my favorite and
Hmm.
like the best, yada yada.
Yeah.
But like card games in general and any type of like hobby that you have are just a vehicle to like see and hang out with friends,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Like half the time that's just a matter of like if you're like a young adult or an adult, you'll find eventually like you are having trouble like getting together with people
Hmm.
without like a specific activity that brings you all there that you were either like there for anyways,
Correct.
or like going to do regardless. So like having like a regional to travel to, that's like an excuse for like a weekend vacation
Hmm.
in a world where like you might not be able to take like a week off on PTO, but you could probably get 2 days,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like it's just a fun thing to do with people. Something to like unwind. Like you have resources like TTS and like webcam or whatever
Correct.
if you want to just play games with people that you can't like drive out. You don't
Hmm.
want to like waste gas or whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just a good vehicle to hang out with your friends and to play a fun game.
It's when you bring up that about like traveling to like for a mini vacation, it reminds me of like when we go to regionals and nationals and stuff. It's so intense. Like it's not like it's intense in a bad way. It's like emotionally like like I don't know if it's physically intense, but like we're put through like 9 rounds of Swiss and all that. So it could be it's like
Yeah.
it's really not like it brings people like they say hardship brings people closer together. So like something like that,
Hmm.
like we're all together like for so long in a weekend. Like how can we not be friends and like
Oh
really
yeah, for
enjoy each other's
sure. It
company?
builds Yeah, it builds like inside jokes and stories and like
Yeah.
self-referential things.
Yep.
Like, oh, do you remember that one time at this PTC where I stole this like festive holiday gourd off the
That
table?
comes up every time you're in
Uh,
town.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course
yeah,
it does.
yeah,
And like,
yeah.
oh, do you remember this time when Colby led me down a fucking dark alley and almost got us killed because we were trying to find Waffle
Oh
House
my
in
gosh.
walking distance
Oh
because
no.
we were in the middle of a fucking food desert at like Texas Nats or something like
Oh
that, right?
no, that's crazy.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just it's cool life experience to
yeah,
have with people
yeah.
and the excuse that gets you there is the card games,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. All right, so we've kind of let this one out of the bag, but number two, your favorite symbol in the game.
My favorite symbol in the game is the good symbol. Very like early on into my like career and play experience, it was like a fun idea in my head that Phil's favorite symbol was the evil symbol,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be like his foil and like protege, and my favorite symbol was the good symbol.
Yeah.
And that helped very like early on insofar as like my favorite deck probably in the game period from MHA forward was good symbol staff strike Jiro,
Sure.
right? So
Yep.
like I played Jiro on the good symbol a lot, right? That was like my namesake. That was what I was known for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And just in general in like early MHA, good was fucking eating. Good
Oh
got
yes.
all of the best cards.
Oh correct.
Back when like back when punch was a keyword that mattered, good
Yes.
punches were crazy.
Yep.
Um, Good had like it can't be fixed and like all the other like best spam in the game,
Mm-hmm.
like every single card that says, "Hey, don't touch my fucking stuff."
Yeah,
Um,
that's correct. Yes. Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, like, oh man, it's like, cause I played All Might 3 off of Good, so I know exactly what you're talking
Hmm.
about. Like that was,
Yeah,
oh yeah, oh that was a time.
that's the stuff.
That was back in the
That's the
day.
stuff,
Oh
baby.
man.
Back when we could just be 8-handers with 30
Uh
health.
huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And just put free
Didn't need
stats
much
on
else.
stuff. Oh yeah, it was great. It
Yes,
was
sir.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, oh my gosh, I hope and pray. Number three, Marvel or DC, and why?
So this one is gonna be like the closest tie ever of all time
Yeah,
to break.
yeah,
I really like DC because I like DC Deck Builder,
yeah,
and I watched like the Teen Titans like original cartoon
yeah.
growing up. I really liked a lot, and I've watched like most of Young Justice as well. So I'm a
Hmm.
big fan of like DC stuff. I'm not like super entrenched with comics like period, but like I've
Yeah,
seen up to about like I think after Endgame I watched like maybe one or two of like the Marvel TV shows on Netflix.
yeah.
Not like everything though. It was like Moon Knight and like Loki
Hmm.
maybe like seasons one of each of those. But I'm not like super entrenched post like Endgame shit with like Marvel stuff.
Mm.
And I don't know the comics for either. The tiebreaker here is going to be like I really do like DC Deck Builder because it's a fun game, but IP wise, I like listening to Andrew tell me about Marvel stuff more.
Mm.
And I think like all the stuff that's going on with mutants and Marvel is
Yeah,
like very interesting and cool and
yeah,
like funny and stupid.
yeah.
I like the things that are like funny and stupid, but also like not too goofy and dumb.
Sure.
If that's not like a great way to put it,
No,
but like
but I
I don't
understand.
know.
As a comic book guy, I
I
can
think
understand. Yeah, yeah.
I think it's funny and cool when I hear about that guy Darwin from the X-Men First Class movie when he fought Hulk one time his body adapted by fucking removing him from that part of the planet
Yeah.
because he can't win.
Yeah.
Like his body
Yep.
his body just adapts to keep him alive and
Correct.
the best way to do that was to teleport to the other side of the globe because you don't win that, man. Like
That's
that
facts.
shit's funny as
Yep.
fuck.
Yes, it
And like
is.
finding out about like yeah, like the mutants have this whole island and like, there's only 3 rules and also an extra secret rule which is fuck Sabretooth. Like
Yep. Yeah. There's a fourth hidden
yeah.
rule. That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And it's
funny.
just like, I don't know, that shit's fun to hear about. I like
Hmm.
that stuff.
Yeah. Like
It's
what?
the closest thing to like anime powers you get in comic
Oh,
books.
sure.
Is just like
Sure.
whatever mutants do. And it's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
yeah, it's an ass pull. It's like, yeah, being able to and he if you ever see that picture where it's like a big random like stack of block towers and then like this random part of the block tower is held up by like a toothpick.
Yeah.
And it's like the entirety of like the Marvel like lore and random mutant shit, and then
Yep.
this toothpick is something some dude in 1972 wrote in a comic, and it's like
Yeah. If it's ready
it's
to,
like
it's ready
yeah
to fall.
when
Yeah.
everyone when everyone takes their new stab at like a run of like X-Men comics or whatever,
Hmm.
and this is just like a bad verbatim from Andrew.
Hmm.
I'm like botching this quote, I'm sure, but he was like, yeah, whenever someone takes like a new run at like mutant comics or whatever in general, they go, hey, do you remember when you said this throwaway line in like 1970 that like Gambit controls friction, period?
Yeah.
That means this actually, and now he's like the sun or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, okay, that's kind of fucking tight. It's like
Yeah.
JoJo-esque powers where it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is this way, but only at this time and because of these things. And it's like
Correct.
that's kind
Yeah.
of funny.
Yeah.
I can dig that. I can get with that.
Yeah, one of my favorite Andrew memories is at it was the second Worlds we had, so second Pro Hero Worlds, and him
Mhm.
and I think it was Bromley and two other people were playing Commander, and I don't know anything about Magic, right? Like I know nothing. So and
Sure.
he was telling me the lore behind his Commander deck about how it's like the different forms of government in
Oh, dude, yeah, the Niv Mizzet deck.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the different forms. He has cards from every government because it tells a story, and that's the way he wants to play the game. And he told me
Yes.
all this lore, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not gonna remember any of this, but I love the storytelling that he's telling me right now because I'm in
I
it, right?
agree.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. That's dude, I totally fuck with that because
yeah,
it's like that's my favorite shit and that's like harkening back to what we were talking about when we were just yapping before the video.
yeah,
I love letting people tell me about shit that they think is cool.
hmm
Like I love that. Especially when it's my boys where it's like if your favorite shit in the world is Kingdom Hearts lore, tell me all about it.
yeah,
I'm not going to retain all of the information, but I will, like I just did with like the Darwin factoid and like the factoid about like I think it's Krakoa or something
yeah.
like
It's
that. Is
Krakoa,
the
yeah,
like
exactly, yeah,
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 like I don't remember everything, but the shit that I fucking latch onto and think is cool, I'm
yeah.
gonna be like, yo, my buddy told me about this shit. This shit was fucking cool.
Hell yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I love that. Like my friend is really excited about his Byakuya deck because of this, or like
Mhm,
whatever. Like
mhm.
I'm super in on that stuff.
All right. So question 4, probably we already know the answer to, but
Mhm.
favorite IP in the game.
Yeah, it's my hero.
Yeah.
It's what got me. Yeah, it's what got me back into the game. What's kept me here
Mhm.
for the most part. Um, I really liked it. My hero proper I think came out when I was like a sophomore in high school. I want to
Okay.
say. 'Cause I graduated 2017, and I think
Oh
MHA was
yeah.
like animated in like 2015 or
Something like
started being
that.
animated in
Yeah.
2015 ish, something like
Uh,
that. Uh, so I was like, again, like I said, I didn't
yeah.
read comics, so I was
Yeah.
like, wow, superhero high school, that's never been done before.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's like that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I really liked the IP a lot. I have I won't pan the camera over, but I have like a bunch of My Hero like wall scrolls and like
Hell
figures and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's been my favorite anime for a minute here,
Mhm.
and I'm just a big fan of the IP in general, and it got attached to a card game that I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Are you excited about the finale that's coming out this? I think it's this fall, right? I think the ending of it's this
I
fall.
am. Yeah, I read ahead.
Okay.
I've been caught up. I was weekly reading it for the longest.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited to see everything get animated.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of Vigilantes as well. That just started airing. It's the sides or spin-off series rather. It's
Okay.
like a prequel. Um, I actually I have a really bad habit of getting almost all the way through stuff and then going like on a trip or like leaving or like stopping doing the thing for a couple days and
Mhm.
then just like not picking it back up.
Okay.
So like I am probably 75% done with reading Vigilantes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And I have been for like 4 years.
Mm.
And I just haven't read it and I haven't read the last 25% for no reason.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna wait because it'll
Yeah.
be animated.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, but it was really good too. I really
Okay.
like everything in the MHA universe. I think it does a really good job of like giving you a lot of crumbs to world build with yourself. Or
Okay.
if you like read all the like supplemental material, like team up missions and like all this other stuff, you can get like a much bigger like world view on
Okay.
the My Hero like story.
Like, cause like most of my non-core MHA lore has come from Reddit, and like
Yeah,
so like
as you do.
there was this one Reddit post about Midnight and how she's like this
Uh-huh.
she's the most randomest freak ever. Like she says the most
Sure.
off the wall shit about kids, and it's
Yeah.
just like, come on,
Yeah, she's a
man.
freak bitch.
Yeah, she's weird, man. It's just crazy. It
Yeah,
just
she is kind of weird.
and
Yeah.
like I don't know, like I know like Rappa had like a hero arc at some point, and then he decided to not.
So
I have a feeling I kind
it
of know.
was
Is he the dude in the beginning of the like? Is he the punchy dude? Like,
so
is he the knuckle duster guy or
spoilers.
what? Like,
No, he's not Knuckle
oh,
Duster.
okay.
So spoilers, like Rappa and Mirko will show up in
And
I guess
yeah, it's
spoilers.
been out for five
Rappa
years, man. It's all good, dude. Spoilers are
this
good.
this is spoilers for Vigilantes, which
Oh,
is being animated right now,
okay. I
which is
mean, like,
technically a prequel, which has also
yeah,
been out for five
yeah, okay,
years.
yeah.
Yada
So it's
yada.
it's fine.
Uh,
Spoilers, people watch at their own risk, man. So it's all good. So yeah.
Yeah, it's Rappa and Mirko are like they both fight in the same like underground fighting ring
Oh, that's
in Vigilantes.
sick. Okay, cool.
Because they're just and like you see it in the anime too. Rappa's just like a fighting freak. He just
Yeah,
likes hitting people. So like he used to be doing it like less illegally, where like he's still doing an underground fighting ring, but like
yeah,
it's not the mob, and
yeah.
he's not like awful.
Mhm.
So he's just like you see him and Mirko fight in the underground fighting ring, if I recall correctly,
Oh,
in
that's cool.
Vigilantes.
That's gotta be good. That's gotta be cool.
Yeah, Vigilantes is really cool for like you see it's I think it's like maybe 5 to 10 years before MHA proper starts.
Okay,
So like all of the people you would see in MHA, you just see like slightly younger
younger
in
versions.
Vigilantes.
So
Yeah, like
Eraserhead isn't
the
as
most heartbreaking.
what?
Yeah, I said the most heartbreaking one is you see Tensei Ida in Genium, Ida's
Oh,
older brother who gets paralyzed in MHA. You see him
yeah.
up and about as like a really cool and nice pro hero doing all this shit
Oh
in Vigilantes, and
no,
you're like,
that's
damn,
crazy.
he's paralyzed now. That sucks.
That's that
Um,
sucks. Oh wow, that's
yeah,
pretty
and you get to
rough.
see you get to see Stain before he's Stain,
Okay, all right,
which is also cool.
that's neat. All right, question 5. What's your favorite mechanic in the game and why?
Uh, I want to say my favorite mechanic in the game is like we don't see it anymore, but it's which is sad. But I mentioned it's combo. I just
Yeah.
I like the idea of a lot of um a lot of what like separates or like helps you get on that jump from like being a newer player to like starting to get it and having it click is identifying like role assessment.
Mm.
And role assessment is a lot of like, am I allowed to like poke here? Am I the aggressor in this matchup? Like, what am I trying to do?
Mhm.
And the teaching tool that was like pretty helpful for me and what like got me my first like premier event top in this game was just playing a combo deck. 'Cause it's pretty straightforward, right? It's like you will do this thing, and it tells you how to set it up,
Mhm.
right? So like if you want to play this staff strike for profit, you have to put a weapon and then a weapon found or a weapon and a foundation here,
Mhm.
and then you play staff strike,
Correct.
right? So it's like on paper, that's how simple it is.
Mm.
But the guiding tools and like all the other pieces that come together to have you go, hey, if you want your combo, which you already know how to do and know how to set up to work, you have to also put like these things in or be aware of like what your opponent can do with this, that, and the other thing.
Mm.
And I just like it's you can get a lot of analysis paralysis in this game just by virtue of there being so many cards and like especially with Attuned moving forward, there's just
Yeah.
like truly so many things you can put into any deck regardless of your primary symbol
Mhm.
that like going, hey man, here's the bumpers, here's the guide rails, you're gonna do this, and you just got to figure out how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I like that a lot. And on top of that, like by virtue of it having stringent or strict requirements, a lot of combo abilities are powerful and fun to use, right?
Mm. Mhm.
Like staff strikes, incredibly fun to use. Double jab pummel, also really
Oh yeah,
fucking
hell
strong.
yeah,
And that
yeah.
one, yeah. And like even back in what was it? I can't remember the like back in UFS like retro era, I
Yeah.
guess not like really retro because we were there when it was
Yeah.
happening, but like all of the watching like J Ray play 52 attack mature and just like
Oh.
comboing slams with slams
Yeah.
because it's like,
Yep.
hey, we are playing this deck without foundations,
Yep.
and the only way that we get to do that is by leveraging like combo abilities that hack our checks or
Correct.
doing this, that, or the other thing. And
Yeah.
what's the requirement for that? Slamming a bunch of shit in the card pool that has the same words on it, right?
Mhm.
Like it's got guide rails for the start of the deck building process,
Yeah.
and then like finishing the deck building process is what separates like a top cut performance from not, right?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of cool with the game. Like you have this baseline of a deck where I'm gonna throw all the weapon cards together and see what the fuck happens,
Yeah,
right? And then, but like what you said, between the top cutters and the non-top cutters, is that person put in hours of work tuning it, not attuning it, but tuning it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they did that in the
you
design
did the
phase.
design
Yeah.
process. So yeah, like you just tune it and play it, and you get your matchups down, and you're like, well, if I just do this 100% of the time, I'm going to win X amount of times. And if someone does this, I have to do this. And you like when I watch you play and I can hear you go through all of the permutations of like, well, if I do this and this, and but you have this, but I can still do this, and like it's like then you're like, well, I think I have you, and you just play it, and it's like the guy doesn't have it, right? Like it's like you put
Yeah,
them
yeah.
on to have the one thing, and if they don't have the one thing, you win, right?
Yeah, for sure. The parlance that we always use is like, is this true? Where it's like there is no way to not die here.
Yeah.
And like going through that and like being like, okay, this should be true. It's a Calvin Tahanism. He's
Okay.
very memeable. Uh, or at least that's where I first heard it.
Yeah.
And then the other parlance for it is like putting them on better habit. It's like a
Yeah.
very like Yu-Gi-Oh slash other card game slash any type of like risk versus risk averse
Sure.
and risk assessment type thing where you go like, well, especially in like an open decklist format moving forward
Mm.
now, where it's like, well, you play 2 copies of Genkais, you checked one of them. Uh, I can, as early as turn 2 or 3, put you in a spot where you must Genkais this attack or you lose. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to put you on better habit.
Yeah.
And the percentage amount of the time that you don't have it, I win immediately. And
Mm.
then you do, I go, well, I
Yep.
played to my out.
Yep.
Or like I didn't put myself in the worst spot because I knew that was something that could happen.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
And yeah, the other part of like the deck building thing that like like this game is like so vast as far as like what you can and cannot do in it. But like I'm learning things even as recently as like this past week, or like I'm developing skills as recently as like this past week, or like this format forward, where like something I've been trying to work on is not like over siding or like under
Oh,
siding.
sure.
Or like I don't love 4-ofs and stuff unless it's like deck building constraint. Like you should just always play 4 of this because it's good to see at every point in time in the game.
Mm.
Where like in my most recent deck that I played, the Air Deku deck, convenient timing I think is a really really good card right now. And I have 4 of it between my main and side. I don't think I've ever like put 4 of it in, and I think that was a mistake. Where like I don't think I should have played 4 of it. I think 3 max would have been great,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the idea of like main board 2, side 1 extra for those specific matchups.
Yeah.
But I had 2 in my sideboard, and that could have just been like a better card in that slot, right? So it's like
Yeah.
a skill I'm still developing.
Okay.
Insofar as this far along in my career,
Yeah.
even with like as accomplished as I am,
Yeah.
it's like you can still always just get better.
Correct.
There's like so much shit to like do in this game.
Mm-hmm. Convenient timing's the Kirigiri 2 card, right? That gives it's like perma
Yep.
breaker 1 or whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like calling it Blood, Sweat, and Barks because it's non-alcoholic.
Ah,
beer,
yeah, there
and
you
it's
go.
not quite as good as not quite as good as Blood, Sweat, and
Beers,
Beers.
yeah, but it's
The onboard effect is also pretty good, especially if you're playing like against Deviljin or like Hawks.
oh
who's
yeah,
someone
because
who
it
cares
shoves the
about
card to
specific
the
shit in their discard.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it puts it directly on the bottom, so you
yeah.
can go like, if I get to play my attack first and I'm playing into Deviljin, I go, okay, before you can put something in that stops my character or all of my effects, I will use convenient timing as my first enhance. Put your fucking
Aerial Goblin Bolt.
your Goblin Bolt on the bottom. Yeah.
Get wrecked,
And
kids.
then they go, ah, dang it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
That's something too that I'm kind of like I've been working on a lot is actually sideboarding at locals because I don't know, I feel like sideboarding at locals is a little try-hardy, but I also think that it's a
Yeah,
skill that you should develop, and that's probably the best place to develop it because you
For
don't
sure.
want to be doing that in the middle of a regional, right? Like you want to be able to,
Right.
like sure you can be like, oh, I know I can put this card in because it's always going to be good or whatever, like a card like Dark Ward. Like I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put 2 in side 2. I probably should just be playing 3 maximum, and I should just be playing 3
Right.
in my main anyways because that card's crazy. But like, it's
Mhm.
something that I'm learning to do because I don't want to like make my local super sweaty than it already is because we have a league and all that stuff. But it's like I think it's a skill
Sure,
that everyone
sure.
should develop is sideboarding properly, like you said yourself.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, that was very much like a holdover from Yu-Gi-Oh, and a lot of like what higher level play in Yu-Gi-Oh is people like recognizing side patterns and
Mm-hmm.
like building their decks and sideboards in conjunction with like, okay, I have this deck, or I have this card as a 3-of in my main board, and I have this card as a 3-of in my sideboard. These are like a direct swap in these specific matchups, and I know beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
like a flow chart or like a spreadsheet ish
Yeah.
type thing. But in this game for me, I'm kind of the opposite of you. Where at locals, I just sideboard vibes based. Where
Okay.
like if my opponent brings a deck and they're just like, I'm trying this week. I don't have a sideboard built. I go
Yeah.
sick, and I don't
Oh
sideboard.
yeah, I don't do that
That's
either. That's
that's
for
where I'm
sure.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like even if they sideboard, if I'm just like I don't really feel like it.
Yeah.
Depends on like what I'm up to, like what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
side patterns in this game are like kind of hard to establish because the like it's weird a lot of the times what we like as like super competitive players or people who like grind a bunch
Mhm.
think the meta is supposed to be
Yeah.
never really is because people
Mhm.
just kind of play what they like.
Correct.
um so it's hard to have like this is the established set in stone, I am bringing in these cards in this matchup whatever, because if I like even playing against like a deck like Hanji or whatever, it's like they can be doing like two or three different things, so
Mm.
like I can't say I'm always bringing this card in against Hanji because sometimes that's
Yeah.
not the same type of Hanji. So it's just like you bring cards that are for specific types of decks, right?
Mhm.
Like I have like the holy trinity of fuck you blocks on air
Yeah.
with like Airy Smiles, Goblin Bolt, and Convenient Timing.
Yeah.
And I am excited to see them in descending order against like whatever matchups. And I
Yeah.
bring in my third copy of whatever depending on the matchup.
Sure.
But it's never like, oh, I know definitively this is coming in for sure all
Yeah.
of these games post board. But
Mhm. Yeah, Stormblade says, I do everything on vibes. Should I play this attack? Ah, fuck it. Send it. So,
yeah, fuck it, chuck
yeah,
it. Aggro
yeah,
is
yep,
is good. It
yep.
works. It works when it works. If you
Um,
roll fives, you take lives, etc.,
yeah,
etc.
et cetera. All the taglines our game has, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so question 6. Eventually, this question will probably end up getting swapped out, just because it's kind of like it's a throwaway, but it's just it's an
Sure.
easy content question. It's supposed to get the,
It's a layup.
it's supposed to get the
Get the people
get the people
going. Yeah.
going because it's about the ban and errata list. Do you think the
Yeah.
monthly ban and errata list is doing its job?
I do think so as of late, right? Like it is uh coming from like other card games, it is incredibly cool to see the company taking feedback from the players and like from the player base as
Mm-hmm.
frequently as it does.
Mm-hmm.
It is also incredibly frustrating in that same span where you go like, okay, well clearly you're listening to what people are saying, so like either how are these like mistakes happening still, or like why couldn't we have just like stopped this in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a little bit annoying where like none of the bans that have happened and none of the erratas that have happened have been people going, I can't believe they did that. It's always been
Yeah.
people going like, finally,
Yeah.
or like,
Yeah.
what the fuck were we waiting for, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But like it is cool and like helpful to have it be like, okay, well they're aware and like it's happening, right, with
Mm.
some more amount of frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's also like I said in like the previous like question where like we have a somewhat warped perspective as far as like playtesting incredibly competitively, incredibly frequently
Mm-hmm.
on what we think is too good or should be banned. Like, I'll give you an example specifically is Nick Reagan, right? Um, I think that the character, like, there are ways to beat him.
Yeah.
There are ways that you can make your deck to beat him. The problem is, and the problem has been, and it's like similar to other bans that we've had in the past, where he is format warping.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like kind of similar to Bert, where like he was the big bad going into the event. He is likely the best deck, quote unquote, at every event.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of enough people in the room are either not on him or playing something that has a better matchup into him because they are so heavily teched for it
Yeah.
that like it doesn't get all of the results that it needs to be for people to go, this is a gigantic
Oh,
problem.
sure.
Or if it does, it doesn't get them all at once. Um, but I don't love decks where it's like, hey, you must have an answer to this. And also the rest of the format has like 4 or 5 different other decks that you must have answers for that are not like the same DNA as this deck.
Yeah.
So you're either spread incredibly thin on a sideboard or on a main deck,
Mm-hmm.
and you either like can't cover everything, or you just have like more than one matchup that your deck just goes, yeah, I just can't win that.
Yeah.
Like I think it's fine to go to an event with a deck that has a matchup that is fucking abysmal.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like the best deck in the format
Yeah.
or like the
Yeah.
most represented shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Yeah.
the combo Deku deck. I've been like grinding the shit out of the matchup to get better at it, but it's not a great Godzilla matchup because you're trying your best to set up like everything on board, and then they go get the fuck rid of it, and then you go,
Yeah.
that's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but Yeah, I mean, I think the monthly ban and errata list is doing its job. I just don't love formats where there's like one main deck that is warping deck
Sure.
building around it.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, and I think that's like currently where we're at,
Mm.
especially also with like it's very. I also don't like I don't like it when it's like super duper swingy as far as matchups goes.
Yeah.
Where like Pony always feels like a pretty swingy matchup. Where like if you hold on long enough and if your tricks work, you survive and you win.
Yep.
But it's out of your hands whether
Correct.
that works or not.
Correct.
Uh,
Yes.
and kind of the same thing with like Devil Jin, where like if they don't check Aerial Goblin Bolt, their deck looks a lot worse.
Yes,
But
that's
also,
facts.
if they see the foundation with Asui's face on it, and you don't have an answer in the first 2 turns,
You
and
die.
they do draw attacks
Yep.
as a 5-hander,
Yep.
you just die.
Correct.
And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you look at your hand of your deck, and it's like you're a 6-hander. You go, okay, well, here's 2 cards that I have to play because they like make my deck function.
Yep.
Here's one answer, and here is anything else.
Mhm.
I will build what I'm supposed to build. Try my one answer, and if it doesn't work, I die. It's like, well,
Yep.
whoops.
Yeah, like, because like when you bring up the fact of like you have one abysmal matchup, that's how I tend to look at my decks. Like if I can build something that's what like 90% against the room, and at 10%, if I run into my one bad matchup, I'm just gonna lose. I guess we'll take that.
Yeah,
And like that's how I kind of took like Worlds out like that because I just played Ymir, and I'm just like, well,
sure.
it's a comfy deck. I love it. If I run into my worst matchup, which I thought Godzilla was my worst matchup at the time because I only got 23 health and he kills me in 3 moves, and he wants to
Yeah.
nuke the board, So, but like I beat every Godzilla I faced, and I was just like, okay, well that's cool. I guess I was completely wrong, And sometimes you're wrong
Mhm.
about like that. Maybe
Yeah.
you play that one random card that no one else plays that helps you in that matchup, or maybe there's just some bad RNG off the top of your rival's deck. So sometimes it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter what, and then it doesn't even matter like what your thought process is. You could face your worst matchup and they just draw like dead, and you just roll them.
Yeah, oh, for
Yeah,
sure. That's like, yeah, that's the variance part of it, right? And
Mhm.
like the other thing too is a lot of what I've noticed is like because like, time keeps moving, right?
Yeah.
Like formats change, new cards come out, etc. Like you don't have infinite time to grind like matchups in the format, and like your prep can't always be let me play like 10 games of my worst matchup to try and see if there's like a play pattern thing I can adjust and make it better. Like that is a good thing to do if
Mhm.
you have the time and resources to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that's the thing that'll kill you in the tournament, and that's like what part of the bad matchup is. Like maybe the combo Deku into Godzilla matchup isn't like as abysmal as I like think it is, but I've only like recently as like that like Canadian tournament and like in practice games like today even been like maybe I just have to adjust my play pattern, but that's
Yeah.
not something you can do in a tournament.
Correct.
So like
Yeah.
or if you can, you're a savant, right? Like if you
Yeah.
if you play a game 1 against your worst matchup and you go, oh, I get it,
Yeah.
and then you perfect them the next 2 games, it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you're a fucking learning computer, you're
Yeah.
a neural net processor, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, it's yeah, I guess wrapping back around
Yeah.
to the question,
Yeah.
I think as long as the Forbidden Unlimited list is doing its job
Mhm.
in like my limited purview of going, hey, we're curbing the decks that are format warping,
Correct.
and we're like making the game not uninteractable and swingy, that's fine by me.
Yep. Cool. So we know what your favorite IP is by the earlier
Mhm.
question. So question 7. If you could have any one IP brought into the game, what would it be?
I tried to think about these questions before I came on, and this one I like still just could not find like a great answer for.
That's why I send them
Like,
to you guys early, so you guys can think of this
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
and I still failed.
It's okay. No worries. No worries, man. It's all good.
It's
It's tough sometimes when your
'cause
favorite
it's-
IP is already in the game, right? So
right, exactly. Like the IP that I would want for specifically a card game is already in the game,
yeah.
right? So like,
facts, yeah.
it's tough because the other thing too is when you answer a question like this, you want to have it be like your pet thing or like your
Yeah.
favorite, or like it'll just click and be like, oh dude, this, and then someone
Yeah.
else goes, yo, that would
Yeah.
be sick.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal.
Yeah.
Like even like it doesn't even matter if it's like the actual answer. You just want to have an answer for this question where you go like, yeah, someone's gonna fucking love that I
Yeah,
said this.
it's for sure. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just don't,
yeah.
right? Like, I think,
It's all
I
good.
guess, honestly, like, vigilantes, I
Yeah.
guess, would be
Okay,
kind
I'm
of
down.
cool.
I mean, like you can't
Like,
even say
we got the free,
you can't even say yourself because you're already in the game. So it's like you can't even say
yeah, right?
yourself,
Like,
man. You know, it's like
yeah,
it's
I
super
think it would be
hard for
like
you.
vigilantes, yeah, vigilantes or like, gosh, like, I think invincible would be kind of
Oh
cool
yeah, I'd be
also.
down for that. You know, like you know.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Wub would love that.
Mm.
Ryan would love if we'd had like more Mega Man in the
Oh
game.
yeah, I know a lot of people who
There was
want.
like
Yeah,
a
there's a shit ton of stuff people like Mega Man. I want Darkstalk. Like Capcom in general, like has a
yeah,
huge pull, right? Like just give us a Capcom All Star set and like we get all the greatest hits. You know, like that would be
that would be
sick.
kind of tight.
That would
Yeah,
be sick. You know, even like a Marvel versus
yeah.
Capcom set. I know we can't get Marvel because Disney wants $1 million, but we can get a Capcom
Mhm.
All Star set, and we can, we can get it. We can get everything we
Yeah.
want, and that would be sick. I don't know.
Like I was like I was saying, the aesthetics of stuff, like even if I don't know the IP
Hmm.
super well, like I don't know Darkstalkers super well, but I
Yeah.
really, really like Hasenko.
Yeah.
I like Jiangxi's as like an archetypal thing. I
Hmm.
think they're very cool. Mythological creatures. I like how what's his face? I like Lord Raptor. I think
Oh
he's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I like Dimitri. I'm pretty sure he's from Darkstalkers.
Yes. Yep.
He's really fucking annoying to play against in retro. I'm pretty sure that character got banned
Yeah.
at some
Yep.
point.
You can thank Mark for that
Uh,
one. You can thank Slam for that. Yep. But yeah. Yep.
Good
thanks.
work,
Thanks,
Mark.
buddy.
Jetta, I think, is also cool
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like, I think that it's a very cool like IP
Hmm.
aesthetically, right? So like that's kind of really all it takes for me.
Yeah.
Is like, does this shit look cool?
Yep. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Yep.
I'll learn about it at least.
Yeah. That's what because what I played it in the arcade game in the arcade. I played Darkstalker, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Like I used to go to the local
Mhm.
arcade and play that shit. And then I found there was a card game with it. I was just like, yo, I'm
You're
in.
like, oh, we're so
I'm
down.
down.
Yeah.
Like, and then I found out I found out about King of Fighters from this game, and King of Fighters is sick as hell. And it's just like,
Hell
oh
yeah.
yeah, man. It's just, I mean, the game was brought up on fighting games, and then we became Anime, the fighting card game. But it's like I'm down for everything, like which we
Yeah,
do.
for
We
sure.
have pretty much everything. We just need.
Yeah, and now we have anime fighting game,
Yep,
Strive.
yep.
Yeah, like,
Strive,
look, there we go.
correct. Yeah, and that's all we need is like
Yeah.
presidents and stuff. Give me Abe Lincoln. The guy has a reach of
Yeah, there we
has like
go.
of a tree trunk or something. I don't know, but well.
Yeah, the fucking he has it's like the George Washington like cherry tree attack or
Yeah, there
something
you
like
go.
that. I'm down.
Wow, we went down the hole there. This one should be pretty good because I know you're a teams player and you like playing on teams. So, 8.
Hmm.
You get your choice of 2 players. Can be current or retired. To pick for a teams event for a teams event. It could be for cardboard because I like saying it's for cardboard. So I'm gonna have to adjust it. It's gonna
Oh,
be
for
for
sure.
cardboard because team should have its own cardboard event. UVS games, just give it to us.
I agree.
Who are they and why?
Uh, yeah. So current player, I'm gonna go with Andrew Holder.
Hell yeah.
And retired player, I'm gonna go with Go Beyond Gaming.
Oh yeah, we
No.
love it. We love it.
Un Unironically, I am good friends with Andrew. I really like hanging out with him. We
Yeah.
don't like have too many of the same like hobbies specifically anymore.
Yeah.
Since he's taken like a little bit more of a backseat
Yeah.
to UniVersus. Uh, to my knowledge, he's getting back into it a little bit,
Yeah.
which is exciting. But I like playing card games with Andrew. I don't think I've ever gotten to play on a team with him, so it
Hmm.
would definitely be Andrew. And then I would love to play with Phil in a teams event. He's the one who like brought me into the game. He's one of my
Yeah.
best friends.
Hell yeah.
I think that a team of me, Andrew, and Phil would be incredibly strong, and I would love to see whatever self-referential fucked up asset we could make.
That would be hilarious. Cause I fought Phil in teams because it was him and Wags. It was him, Wags,
Hmm.
and Ben and Shoemaker, and it was they're I don't know. It was some of the most fun games I've ever had against them, just because of like the chatter, and I think that's why I
Yeah.
love teams so much is because of the chatter and just
Oh,
being
the
able.
banter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
banter
great.
is some of my favorite stuff. Oh, I gotta get rid of this. Go away. Get away. Oh nope. Oh well, I had a bot hit me, so I don't know. I don't have a mod on right now. Corey, you on? Kill that guy.
You're good.
Kill that guy.
Yeah. Mods.
Mods, do your thing if they're
Yeah.
watching. I don't know. I don't know I don't know where the other guys are at, but whatever. Yeah, like I think how do we do it? how do we make a teams event for cardboard? Like, 'cause I know like they're strapped for time and table space and people like just the whole um what is it? The whole like gamut of OP. How do we fit this in if we want like a team? Do you have an idea or like a just
So
as a quick?
the way you'd have to do it probably, if we're going with the structure of worlds is day one is functionally Nats and day two is worlds,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's no nationals. I think the way you would have to do it is your day one of worlds starts early enough that you have time for teams to start at like the end of that. And if you need to do teams top cuts, you can do it after Worlds the next day is
Mm-hmm.
over or during, depending on like whenever. It might like have to run like asynchronously or whatever
Yeah.
if like someone on your team makes a deep enough run in singles worlds, right?
Yeah.
But like I do think it should be something where you give it its own due time, where
Mm-hmm.
you go like, okay, here is like Nats day one is like a 6 round thing,
Mm-hmm.
or like a five to 6 round thing, depending on how many people we have like qualifying on points and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then okay, we're gonna take like a brief break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna play like 3 rounds of teams, and then we're gonna the next day we'll play like either the last round of teams and then teams top cut. Like even if you have to cut it to like we're playing Swiss and we're not doing like top cut of teams, we're
Yeah.
doing cut to finals match is
Yeah.
this team versus this team.
Correct.
Like if you have to do that, I do think
Yeah.
it should be like the teams format is like cool. I
Yeah.
like teams a lot. I think it's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just a great way to like actually show off teams,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like
Yep.
it's cool. It's cool. And so I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy from MGLA is doing well. This guy from Final Round is doing well. This
Yeah.
guy from Let's Talk is doing well.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to be like, oh, team Let's Talk with like these 3 guys that are like representing the team.
Yeah.
They're doing well. They're in like second.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, these 3 guys from Final Round, these 3 guys from MGLA, like they're doing it. They're going the distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you could still like I also think it would just be fucking so cool to look at the like new assets that people would make,
Yeah.
especially
Yep.
where it's like Team MGLA and it's like not called Team MGLA, it's called like something
Yeah.
stupid that like the 3 people on that
Yeah.
team came up with.
Yeah.
That's like a fun reference to like that weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's got like
exactly.
the team logo somewhere or like the team colors and it's like all of your homies on a card.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like my original card art for my champ card had like 6 other people in the
Yeah.
background of it that were just like my friends that like either helped me design the card,
Yeah.
helped me along the way, or have just been like the homies.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And due to like licensing stuff, it like wound up not being able to happen, right? So like my original card art is different, but I would love to be on a card with a bunch of my friends,
Mhm.
right?
Satona said 2019, wow, 2019 UK team asset is done or close, he said. So maybe question mark.
Holy.
I mean, I'm down for some
Yeah.
cool assets, because we just saw a really cool one on a preview today, which is like it blew my brains. It was crazy. It's basically Kali Yuga all
Is it
over
the-
again. It's crazy.
Yes, yep, I saw that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that card, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
goes infinite with
Yep.
what's it fucking called? Tasty Rift.
Yeah, you have to. It's like a huge loop. You have to go.
you have to have two. You
Yeah.
have to have 2 of them in your discard pile
Yep.
and 2 Tasty Rifts.
Yep.
But then any deck that can play that can infinite because you just go
Yep.
riff, build it,
Yep.
freeze, pick up the riff, riff, build a new one.
Yep.
Whee!
Yep. You just loop it over and over again. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It
It
yeah.
is really good.
Yeah.
It's not like insane.
No,
Insane.
yeah.
It is just like, hey, this is a definitive win con for the fucking slowest, most dirtle deck
Correct.
you've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, inconvenient timing just shoves them down to the bottom of the deck. So I guess we're just playing that card.
That's true.
There we go. Getting the hot tech right now,
Convenient timing
everybody.
Stocks on the rise.
Yeah.
And then it rotates. No.
No.
League of Villains.
No.
No.
So number 9. What is your favorite deck right now?
My favorite deck right now specifically is the Air Deku deck
Mhm.
that I took to the Canadian 1K. Like I said, I've always loved combo.
Mhm.
And Deku just like he has a very specific niche right now in the format where like your turn 1 build going first it's all gravy because you don't have to worry about your opponent hitting you before you flip onto the flash side if that's like your best side to be on in the matchup.
Yeah.
And then going second, you have the like unique position of I can block the decks that throw like a bunch of attacks at me in a row on 2 because I give -3 speed to everything.
Correct.
And if I can't and someone throws like a blowout haymaker at me that I cannot do any fucking thing about, if I have a vestige in my hand, my face to take only 1 damage from this fucking attack that true 100% is stapled onto. Right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
if all else fails, you have like an oh shit button, and you also have like a really consistent way to do defense.
Yeah.
And like I was mentioning earlier, like the fucking triumvirate of get shit on nerd blocks on the air symbol are really good right now.
Yeah.
Where you have airy smiles, convenient timing, and goblin bolt.
Yeah.
Like against the Nick deck specifically, if you make it to your backside of your character, Nick plays any attack as a 5-hander that says the word draw a card or fix your check. You go, the fuck you did, commit your character, block it with a goblin bolt.
Then
and
stare
then he
at
goes,
him. Yeah.
Then he goes, okay, I'll play another attack that I hard opened in my 5-hander. And you go, great, you're not using Nick on that one either. And then they go, okay, I'll play another attack that I hard opened in my 5-hander. So 3 out of their 5 opening cards in their actual 5-hander at this point have to have been attacks.
Yeah.
And then they get to play the game.
Correct. Yeah.
So like,
yeah. That's wild,
like that's really good there. Yeah, you can also like airy smiles, make them if they're using like a hacked check from dignified display.
Oh, yeah.
Your next hack check is being used on this foundation card, motherfucker. And like convenient timing against shit like Godzilla or Pony, where it's like Pony doesn't really give much of a shit about breaker or card pool clog, but she sure as shit does give it any amount of a fuck about something that she can't stop, which is minus to the checks for the turn.
Yep, that is true. Yep.
So it's wrenching back some of that like onus or some of that control from like the things that are outside of your control by just going, wait, I'm gonna do this first, then you can try and fuck me up.
Yeah.
Like
I like that type of I like that type of play style. I like having those answers like defensively. Because Satonis is he knows it's Tim Keefe, I've sent him decks before, and he goes, well, how are you killing people? All this does is it's a bunch of 4-diff utility attacks. I usually have I just like playing stuff. I like playing the game, I like doing buttons, right? And I usually have trouble finding win cons sometimes, but like I like looking at defense first, which is really weird. It's like I don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna play aggro and I want to attack. Attacking's fun. Like I think playing defense is fun. And being able to tell my rival no is awesome, you know?
I agree to an extent because like that is correct, that is right. But the thing that like supersedes that for me is like I said, that's part of why I like combo is like having a streamlined. This is how you win, right? And even in Midoriya in combo Deku, like with Jiro, your character does so much of the heavy lifting on their face, right? Like it doesn't matter what fucking attacks that you play because you can form as many times as you want. Like you can kill someone with an aerial goblin ball. It doesn't just have to be a block trick because you're putting floating 9/9 on it.
Yeah.
You go, okay, well I'll commit 6 foundations. Here's a goblin bolt. It's a 12 high 12. I'll seal your first answer, and then man, here's a 12 high 12.
Yeah, man.
So like you can just do that with anything. Like it's you do that with sweeping daggers, and then you play their best attack.
Oh my gosh,
like
I forgot. Yeah, you
Deku
can play
forms
sweeping
on
daggers in that deck. Holy shit, that's wild.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
And I did with gusto. And then you also have the main like straightforward win con of, okay, I took the onus away from you on your turn, and I'm doing it again on my turn, where this is a phantom threat flash catch. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of the tools, and like you would if you put any other character on top of this deck, and went, okay, try to win, it's just fucking impossible because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But when you add in like I pass floating stats to things, I flash something, I give -3 speed. Like those are 3 insane abilities on like, one character that you'll just always have. You don't have to find.
Yeah.
That's like an insane resource to start from like the ground up of like how to like asking the question, how do we play defense? Like you said, if you want to start with defense, how do we play defense? Here's all the best defense cards that we can play on air. Okay, how do we kill people? See option 1, your fucking character.
Your character, yeah. That's sick. So I'll link the video in the description box below so you all can go check it out. It's super, super cool. I mean, just listening to Mitch talk about it makes me want to go build it and play it. And
You should.
Yeah.
I think you would have a lot of
Yeah.
fun with it.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I'll take advice from you. I love it. I've asked you many times about decks. I'm good. I'll do it. So, as we wind up into the end of the night, it's been a long one. Like I said, we're a little over an hour and a half. Like I said, I'm sorry, I'm keeping you a little longer than normal.
No, you're good.
Uh,
I just like I said, I like
you
yapping.
know, like yapping. I'm a yapper as well. So it was a storm of a brewing. So where can
A pleasure yapping.
pleasure yapping. So as we finish, where can people find you? Any shout outs?
Yeah, definitely. I've said in a couple of my like past videos. Huge shout outs to the MGLA guys. More than just like a team. They're just like a bunch of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like gotten a lot closer with them over the past like year. Great group of guys to play test with. Huge shout outs to obviously Phil Birch and the old Unfun Stuff crew, getting me into the game, getting me up to where I was or am today rather. Gigantic shout outs to like the Gaming Giant crew. Mostly Ryan and the Alvins are who I interact with like more frequently, but
Yeah.
obviously like Snuggy, Rob, Kevin, like all
Yeah,
of the
their
guys from
locals is insane.
Gaming Giant.
Like their
Oh,
locals
for
is
sure. I
crazy.
think Barlow also goes there, and I'm pretty sure Scott goes there
Oh
too.
my
The
God. Oh, Scott DeJarna? Oh no way. Really? Holy
yeah,
shit. That locals
I'm
is
pretty
packed.
like
Damn.
yeah, they mentioned Scott with
Yeah.
enough frequency that I'm like he probably lives pretty close to them. So
Yeah.
like I'm pretty
That's
sure that locals is just fucking cracked.
that's cracked
But
ass
yeah, like
locals. Yeah.
shout outs to all them. Obviously shout outs to you. Like I
Yeah.
said, I loved the format
Yeah.
of these like
Welcome.
interviews and just getting to talk.
Thanks.
I'm happy you had me on.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you came
And
on. I was like, woo, we got
thank
him.
you.
So it's
Yeah,
another notch in the
my
belt back here. Another notch.
yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. My YouTube channel is very simple. It's just my first and last name. Easy to find. And then we've mentioned a couple times throughout this episode, our first episode of our podcast. Not even knock on wood because I know it's gonna happen. 'Cause
Hell
it
yeah.
has to. Is going to be uploaded to the MGLA YouTube channel tomorrow. Look forward to Ryan's content reveals on that as well. They are part of the podcast. They are baked into us yapping about AOT3 stuff.
Hell yeah.
And in general, I will see everybody at regional events throughout the year. I plan on going to every one of them that is in the like continental United States as well as Canada. And yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, again, thanks again. Yeah. So everyone in chat, thanks for hanging out. We're gonna wrap it up. I think I heard my AOT3 content creator package show up while we were talking, so I'm gonna go rip that
Hell
thing
yeah.
apart and make a video. But yeah, chat. Thanks for Storma Blades for the Prime sub. You're amazing. I love you. You didn't have to do
Yeah,
that.
hell yeah.
Frog McGee, thanks my buddy Graham, followed me in the middle of a hockey game when we were there, so that was cool for no apparent reason. But yeah,
Nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and We're gonna go see if we can find someone to raid real quick, and then we'll send everybody home.
I think Tam's on.
Is Tam on? Yeah, we're gonna raid him. All right, we're gonna start the raid. Everybody, go see Tam. Everyone. Again, thanks a lot. Have a good night, everyone. We love you. See you in the next. See you Friday
Everybody.
for games. We're grinding on Friday. So bye.
Hell yeah. Bye.